So I want to have some fun today. I am going to challenge myself, and let's say I only have $200 to invest into starting a candle business. I'm going to utilize Amazon because I know that Amazon overall is pretty universally available to most everybody, no matter where you live. But keep in mind that some of these materials and supply items that I show on Amazon may not be available in your country. I live in the US, so I just wanted to preface with that. I also want to preface by saying that I know that there is a lot that can go into a candle business. This is not including the testing phase and any other kinds of things that you may want to invest into, such as business insurance or domain names or anything like that. This is simply what you would utilize as a finished good. So the materials needed for the finished good of your candles. Okay, so let's go over to Amazon and see what there is available. So I have been looking around already and I have an idea of what I would choose if I only had $200 to invest. So I just want to show you my thought process when I'm looking at the candle waxes that they offer. So first and foremost, I know that American Soy Organics is a more reputable candle wax supplier. So I'm more immediately drawn to that than I would be with something like this or something like this or this. If it doesn't tell me what kind of wax it is, then I don't really want to use it. So like this right here, I wouldn't use. I don't know what kind of wax this is. I don't know what kind of wicks those are. It doesn't appeal to me to get that. I want to be able to know exactly what brand I'm purchasing, and I want to be able to scale and purchase bigger bulk quantities of it in the future. This is just simply to get that first initial investment, no matter how high the cost of goods is for the finished candle. I want to be able to have a good candle and a good performing candle that I can then scale and purchase higher bulk quantities of. So immediately I'm actually more drawn to the coconut wax than the Freedom Soy wax. And that's simply just because I feel like with the coconut added to it, it gives that additional kind of marketing that you can add to your marketing and branding. Because I feel like even though soy candles are still highly sought after, I feel like adding coconut in there just elevates it a little bit. So with this, you get 2 5-pound bags. So it's 10 pounds for nearly $39. So about $3.90 a pound. As I said, it is actually pretty pricey to do it this way, but again, just with that initial investment, we're just looking to get the best that we can with this amount. So I'm going to add that to the cart. And then what I want to do is look up candle jars. Car jars, that's not right. Candle. Oh, look at those. Those are, I was actually looking into getting these. Okay, and making these. I got to look at that again. That's so funny. Candle jars. So candle jars here. So I was looking all over Amazon and I'm like, can I find something that's like really unique and really just trying to make the best possible candle using Amazon supplies? And when I thought about it logically, because I thought, wow, these would be really elegant and really cool to have for a candle brand. But you only get 10 of them. They're a 7.5 ounce empty glass jar. So you'd make maybe a 6-ounce candle. And I just felt like it wasn't worth it for the investment into it. So it just always brings me back. I just always end up going back to my tried and true, the first jars I pretty much ever used. I know these as the 9-ounce straight-sided jars. They put them as 8 ounces. I don't know if they're really smaller than it. They seem like they're pretty much the same size. But with these, you get 24 of them. They have fantastic reviews. It's a thicker glass jar. It has definitely a look to it, just even looking at it. A lot of popular candle brands use these jars. And so you get the lids and the jars, and they also come with labels as well, which is really cool. So you get all of these all in one. And I just feel like it's a great option for getting started. And just know that, you know, in this hypothetical situation, if you were to invest into Amazon supplies, you can always upgrade to other jars in the future. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. So I'm going to add these to the cart. And actually, I feel like I forgot to, oh, I did put the savings on there. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's a little coupon code. I want to make sure that I got that. Any amount of money you can save is definitely worth it. So now we're going to look into fragrance oil. Now, fragrance oil on Amazon has elevated a little bit since I last knew what kind of fragrances that you can get. So I always knew of this P&J Trading fragrance company. I've never used them. I really don't have any experience with them. The Vine Vita I know about as well, and I feel like they are reputable and a good brand as well. Any of these other ones I don't know anything about. The only one that I know about is Brambleberry, that I would be like, okay, I'm pretty sure that those fragrances would actually perform very well in a candle. And I am trying to find and make the best performing candles that I could with the supplies and the $200 investment. So I know that it is quite expensive. But when I did the math, it would take, you could do 6 fragrances, 4 candles each. So if there's 24 candle jars, you could do 6 fragrances and have 4 candles in stock of each of those fragrances. And because for the 2 ounces that you're getting, each of these 7-ounce candles, if they were filled to 7 ounces, would require 14 grams of fragrance oil, and that would be about a 7.6% fragrance oil load, which should be totally fine for these fragrances. We do about an 8% fragrance load, so it's right around there, and we get a super strong throw. So when it comes to these fragrance oils, again, $6.50 an ounce is quite a bit of money. But again, it's just that first initial investment. But what's fun here is that we'd be able to go through and just add on 6 of these to the cart and be able to see, what kind of vibe am I going for? What am I wanting? What kind of variations would I want for my candle business? You may even be able to find that you could blend some of these and make your own fragrance. So the cocoa butter cashmere one actually is a very popular scent if I'm just thinking about it from a popular standpoint. So I know there's another one down here that is a oatmeal milk and honey. This one's also a popular scent as well. So I'm just going to add 3 of these fragrances to the cart just so I get an idea of the cost of what it's going to be. And I'm trying to differentiate it a little bit. Another one, yeah, Twilight Tea and Amber. This one seems like it's maybe a little woodier. So we have 6 bottles of fragrance oil and then the 24 jars and the wax. So now we need wicks and just say candle wicks. Now, what I don't recommend getting is something like this. So cotton wicks, anything that doesn't have a series wick attached to it. So for instance, these are Eco Wicks. Those are great. You could utilize those. I think Amazon also sells CD wicks, but I actually prefer, especially for coconut wax, the CDN wicks. And for this size jar, I'm just guessing a CDN 5 for that wax. I've never tested this, so keep that in mind. This is not tested. So I would go with this, add this to the cart. That's going to bump up everything quite a bit. So we're at $168.83. So we have the fragrance oil, we have the jars, we have the wax, we have the wicks. And remember, inside the jars come with the labels as well. So you can utilize the labels inside of what comes with the jars. And I do want to make sure that we can also get warning label stickers. So candle warning label sticker. Let's see what the cheapest one we can possibly get. So these are $7.99. These are $5.99. That might be the cheapest. Oh, those are holographic. That's a vibe right there. So I'm going to say these ones right here. These are just a little over an inch, should fit no problem at the bottom of those jars. So I'm going to add that onto there. And then we also need to get the wick stickers. So these ones right here. So these are wick stickers. These are the cheapest I can find. And I have actually purchased these before when I needed them and they were just fine. So you get 160 of them for $5. So we're going to add this to the cart. And then I think that is pretty much what we're needing. Oh, the only other thing that I want to include, and I know this is not a part of the cost of goods, but I just want to include it. Oh, no, not cotter pins. I want to do clothespins. These are the best thing about utilizing these jars is that, first of all, it's just one wick. Second of all, you can utilize clothespins, which are fantastic for holding the wicks in place, and they're very affordable. So $5.45. So there we go. Again, I know that wasn't part of the cost of goods, but I just wanted to include that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share what the total cost of goods would be for these candles and what I would try to sell them for if I was creating this and making this into an actual business. So I just double checked the cost of goods for everything. So for one of these 7-ounce candles, it would be $1.60 for the wax, $3.24 for the fragrance oil, 20 cents for the wick, $1.35 for the jar and candle label, and then 3 cents each for the warning label at the bottom and then the wick sticker. So it would be roughly $6.45 per 7-ounce candle. And the total cost of goods for all 24 candles is $154.80. Now, the retail side of it, if we're looking at what would we retail it for, these candles can go anywhere between $20, $22. Some of them even charge even more for this size of jar. Again, just depending on branding, marketing, perceived value, how you are branding it. And this would actually allow you to sell for cost of goods times 3, which is less than what I would recommend, but in this instance, that's actually pretty good because you're still able to make a profit. So let's say you sold all 24 candles and you would gross $480, so profit would be $325.20. So again, this is just rough estimates, but cost of goods times 3 brings you right at that $20 mark if we're multiplying this by 3. Typically, I recommend to do cost of goods times 4 plus 10 to 20%. Some people can even do cost of goods times 5 because you're really looking to get that profit margin there. That's why you want to choose supplies that you're thinking about marketing and branding within that. So what is the highest quality of materials that I can purchase? And again, this is the highest that it will pretty much ever be. This initial $200 investment is really just trying to get the bare bones of what can I get with that. So with this, we're able to start off with 6 different fragrances. We have our jars, we have a coconut soy wax, we have the wicks for the jars, and 6 different fragrances. Again, I just kind of chose some random ones on there, but you could be more strategic with it and think about different blends that you could create as well. But this is just kind of an overarching idea of what we could do with $200 on Amazon to initially invest into a candle business. So that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed seeing my perspective on things and kind of getting in my head on what I would do if I was investing $200 into starting a candle business and utilizing all the materials from Amazon, because it is very limiting on Amazon. I wouldn't always recommend it, but if you're just kind of getting started with it, or if you're really, really determined to start off with a lower amount, if you've already kind of been testing and you really want to save up and start, with $200 or $300, and you want to utilize a platform like Amazon that has, everything kind of all in one, I feel like it's definitely doable. Things I didn't mention obviously were like shipping material supplies, the actual supplies you need to make the candles, like a pouring pitcher and a thermometer. But again, as you know, this was just for the cost of goods portion. But with that, I'm going to end today's video right here. And I really, really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one.